Whew, okay, we're back. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Rookzer0. I'm going to be drawing today in the drawing and discussion and drawing the D&D drawcast. I still like drawcast. I think that's a better way to do it. The D&D drawcast. Draw and discussion. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of face drawings, I guess. Head drawings, body drawings, whatever it is. I've had a few people asking me about how to be drawn heads. So I figure we do draw some fancy faces. There we go. And yeah, so I just want to do a quick little discussion about that. There's a few ways to start drawing a head, and one of those is blocky, the other is round, and so I'm just gonna kind of break some of this stuff out real quick for everybody. Might help if I actually invited people to the stream. That would be fun. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Bri, welcome back. Ken, also welcome back. I got my drawing tablet today, finally. Nice! I hope to see lots of cool stuff posted in the Discord in the near future. I would love to see that. So these are not exactly my sketches. These are based off of... I am not sponsored by these guys. I'm using the figure drawing book again as reference. And this is just really good. They cover shapes so well that I think this is a great way to kind of explore it. So this is basically your head shapes and your keys. I think is how they describe it, as keys. Hiccup, welcome to the server. If you're listening. Sees a few people jumping in, so that's good. Today we're drawing some faces. It's gonna be fun. So, yeah, let's get to it. I'm just gonna do a few like rudimentary sketches here, so I can get just a reference guide to talk about, and then we will get to getting. We'll get to getting. There we go. Yeah. So these are on page 59. I redrew them of the figure drawing design and innovation book. If you want to get one of those, I would say great. It's one of my favorite reference books. It just teaches you how to sketch the human body, which is awesome. Not sponsored by them. No sponsorship. I have to say that apparently. Oh. Ken, Hiccup is you. Great. Post stuff in the art share. I'd love to see it. What do you got? Nice. That's great. It's a nice big canvas for you to just sketch all over. Playing with some pens I see there. That's good. I dig it. But yeah, okay. So let's talk about the face. So you can kind of see where these belong. A lot of people, I myself included, I use the circle method. So I just try to find the general shape of the head, and then I start placing all of my keys in there. And then, much like yesterday when I was talking about it, once you have your keys, you can start building kind of the map of the face. So we got our eye line, we got our ears, got our jaw. Like, all of that can be built right into a basic shape. But the thing about the keys is the keys define from the simple shapes to the complex shapes, and that's why it's important, because if you have your character's head and you want them to be, looking around, we can have it this way. But now what we need to do is we need to know that line, that curve, is this line, is this line, is this line, right? So we're slowly building things into this shape so we can start mapping things out. So now you have to transpose all of these things to get it out there. And I think if you go look up Proco, he's got the Lumiere method. Loomis method, I think is the correct way to say it. What did I just do? I was so lost with layers and brushes and coloring. That'll happen. That'll happen a lot. It's pretty good. I like it. It's getting somewhere. Looks like a Dragonborn. It's a great place to be. I'm gonna go back to the live stream discussion. But this is really how you should be practicing, how you should start, how you should be looking for things. Because if you start somewhere where you can follow just basic shapes, you can really start defining whole bits of the face, bits of the character. Like that should actually be tilted up because the whole eye line is tilted up. And you can start building everything else out from there. Oh man, now I'm not going to remember how to draw faces. There we go. So, there are proportions to follow. How would you draw a visor on a person's head? I couldn't figure that out. Yeah, let's do that. Let's give this guy a visor. So, do I need to go? The 2/3 is actually pretty complicated. So we'll come back. I'm not going to delete that because I think that's a good base. We'll hold that for now. Let's start from the front. I really like drawing faces from the profile, like from the side, because it's a really easy shape to get into. Apply your eyes. Eyes are going to be slightly higher than half. Ear is going to be about halfway back. And then we got everything. Our nose is going to be halfway between the jaw and the eye line. Yeah. And our mouth is about the same. We got to face. We got to face it. There we go. Visor. Do you mean like a helmet visor or like a poker player's visor? Those are two very different things. But once you have this shape, so we can start really building out everything we want here. Like, so we even have the skull in here because it needs to be able to make sense. I might have put that eye a little too far back, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. It's all going to look fine in the end. Get the neck going. Got muscles here, tendons, and muscle neck group, and all built out from a circle, right? Like that's the thing. So once you have that shape, once you have that idea, Helm 1, not the poker type. Great. You can start taking this. So I'm gonna go a new layer, and I'm gonna do a different color here, just so it's a little easier to see. Probably do blue. I think blue will be a good contrast. I'm gonna drop this down some. So once you have your head shape and you know where all the pieces are, you can start attaching things. So you know that the helmet part of the helmet part of the helmet, great. That's very descriptive. That's the wrong layer. The part of the helmet that they're wearing is going to just be, it's going to look like a motorcycle helmet. That's one thing. You can really get creative with that. I like putting ear guards on there. And this can come down almost all the way to the eye line. Right? So there we have a helmet. And that could go all the way to like, a Roman helmet or Magneto's helmet. Doesn't really matter. It could have a mouth guard on it. And then your visor, which should be clipped on here somewhere, is going to follow those same lines. And you can start doing whatever you want with that. Like, ooh, that's weird looking. So really, it is a matter of finding your base shapes. You could even get really creative with here and just have it cover most of the mouth. And then give this like a big motorcycle helmet look. Have it loop over so it doesn't like that. That's fun. I like that. But yeah, if you know where all the pieces for your character go, so we know that the eyes are going to be like right here, the bridge, the nose, then you know your visor is going to have to attach at some point, like right here and right here. And then it's a matter of finding a good reference for the type of helmet you want to make. Because do you want the visor to cover the whole face, like a motorcycle helmet, where it's actually like this big? Or do you want it to be a straight slit visor? Or maybe something like Castle Crasher style? I like the Castle Crashers. Kind of paladin type helmet. Just has that simple line, and then you can get rid of your internal lines, and you start coming up with something that looks a little slay the heretics. That would follow that curve. But you just have to remember where your lines are, because if we know the head curves this way and the head curves this way, then everything we have needs to follow that curve, because it's wrapping around the head. Welcome, SciArt. We're doing face stuff today. Oh, that sounded weird. We're drawing faces today. I hope that's helping Ken. So it really depends on the type of helmet and visor you want. Because really, like, from the front, most of the time, the visors just kind of look like this. And that's about it. Just kind of falls forward, and it's got the slits. And that's a helmet. But really, from the side, what that's going to look like is it's a whole incorporated piece, followed by something like this. I have not drawn a helmet like this in so long. It's so great. Yeah, so just breaking it down. That's really all you need to do is start with something very simple, and just keep finding your attachment points and use your references. So I hope that helped somewhat. I'm a big fan of like this kind of stuff. I think that kind of, like, kind of futuristic helmets. So they have like maybe the Iron Man kind of look to them. I'm a big fan of that. Then you can get really creative with the helmet back here. Let it get a little weird. Just know that it's attached. Maybe we'll have some plumage. Plumage is pretty great. Whew. Hells yeah, we got some helmets. I'm making books. I have a whole library to fill with books to draw. I'm making books. I have a whole library to fill with books to draw. Okay, so you have a whole bunch of empty books that you're going to fill with art? Because that sounds awesome. That sounds super awesome. Fourth one is nice. And yeah, thanks. It's helping a lot. Cool. Yeah, the first one's, it's okay to try, several times. I think that's something I'm going to be reiterating a lot. Like the first time I draw something, without reference, it takes a while because I don't have I really have to kind of dig through my mind of what it should look like and what I want it to look like. So I like that one. I'm going to keep that. I'm going to move that over here. We'll just put that in like, we'll call this like good layer. Good layer. I don't know how to spell. E-R. Yeah, that's right. It's all good. Okay. Nice, we got some more daily doodles going on. It's great. I love you guys sharing stuff. I love that everybody's sharing stuff. It's good. Oh man, that head is all jacked up now that I'm looking at it. Let's go back and fix this a little bit. No, I've got the wrong color. Put that back up. Go back to our base color. So this head should probably go like that. Gonna have some ear holes. check what's going on here. That's a nose. Should be a nose there. Mouth. Eyeballs. Oh boy. Oh boy, that's a weird pose. Let's see if I can get that fixed. It's a little better. A little longer jaw. What have I done to this person's head? This is where drawing boxes is actually can help a lot. So let's put a box in here. I think what I have done is stretch this guy's face out too far. This would actually probably almost be squished a little more. Look a little more to the left with how much of the side of the face I'm looking at. So do that, that. Well, that's better. It's not perfect, but whatever. We got a face. Whoop, whoop. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we got some stuff. Let's see what's going on in the chat here. I didn't do my Dragonborn with reference, only from memory, plus you're live yesterday. Yeah, that's fine. I write wrong. I have to draw a library full of books. Oh, you are physically drawing a library. Okay. That sounds tedious. That sounds like it would take a lot of effort and a lot of time. I'm gonna have to post something to the Discord when I have time, trying to get into that habit again. Yeah, John, I think one of the biggest things I had to start doing when I started this whole project a year and a half ago, was really like just trying to get consistent, trying to be as consistent as possible, I guess. Just get the discipline into the habit, getting discipline. Getting into the habit of doing it. There we go. That's words. That's words. Those words work. Let's go with those words. So you can see how I am right now. I'm just breaking down all of these things into shapes. Like, these aren't final shapes, and that's totally fine. I'm just going to keep adding lines and keep adding reference guides. And you can find all these online. You can find books for them. But things you just need to keep looking at is uniformity. So like if the eye line is here, it means the mouth line is going to be the same. They're all going to be parallel because they are a box. Like, so mouth, nose. Then there's a lot of repetition in scale. So like, let's see, what does this book say? Let's read what we got here. Once you draw the face, nose is in the middle. Base of the nose is in the middle. And then that's a 1/2. And then a third from that is going to be your chin, bottom of the chin, separation of the lips. Third. Okay, cool. So I actually have my mouth a little too low in some of these, is what this is saying. So what this suggests, let's just start doing some side faces. All right. We all know I'm okay with destruction, so we're just going to erase this. We're going to erase that. We're going to move some stuff. Gonna move those over here for now. Doop. Oh, is that on that? Dang it. There we go. I'm going to keep those. Alright, let's see what we got going on here. Dragonborn are really fun. So, head, right? So if a normal person has a round head. If we look yesterday at the other video when I was talking about Dragonborn, I was looking at lizard references, and a lot of their skulls are more oblong. So the same principles can apply to these. So whereas maybe I should do one of each. That might be a better way to do it. No, go forward. Step forward. There we go. So from there, I'm going to cut this in half. So the side of the head is kind of flat. And then we know that this is about 2/3 down. That's where our eye line's going to be. Ear matches up with the eye line. So dragons, I think their heads are actually kind of more this way. So let's do that. Let's put that. This is going to be our center line, right? That's where our eye line is going to be. So we're going to have their ear up here. It's going to have like an ear nubbin. I think that's good. And then we're going to be able to add our jaw onto that. So we can start cutting down this line. So now our eyes are going to be here. Nose. So now we have our face here. So it's our brow line is going to be up here. And now this is our face. And we can start breaking this down into a whole bunch of other stuff. So halfway down here, that's where the base of our nose is going to be. Halfway between these two, right? So this is our face from the top of our brow. Ooh, actually, interesting. Yeah, see, this says the ears should be above the brow line. But I've always drawn the ears attached to the... Oh, I'm thinking base of the ear, top of the ear. That's why. Okay. So from your brow line here, top of our ear is going to be like that. Inside of our ear is going to be at our eye line. Halfway between our eyebrow and our chin is going to be the base of our nose. So we're going to have a boxy nose. I like my noses protruding a little bit. I think that's fine. And then 2/3 of the way from here to here, so that's 1 point. I'm going to break that into thirds. This is going to be our mouth separation, and this is going to be the top of our chin. And then we have the bottom of the chin, so because that is round. That's a round thing that's happening. Okay, so those are the proportions for a human face, right? Like that's the general shape of a face. We can kind of, that's not going to match 1-to-1 to a dragon folk, dragonborn, dragon monster, dragon man, but we can still find these things. So if we're going to go for the jaw, because there is a jaw line here, like this is a skeleton. So if we have the ear here, we know that is going to be above, right here is the jaw. And we can start looking at, we need to follow that eye line. That's going to be our jaw. We're going to follow our nose here from our brow line. So our brow line is probably going to be up here, would be my guess. And then that's going to be our face. This is going to be fun. I haven't done this before with a dragonborn. Halfway is going to be the tip of our nose, maybe, and then lips and jaw, right? So all of that needs to kind of be compressed into this box. And we can do that. We can definitely do that. Okay, so we know our jaw is going to end somewhere by this ear. Have our nose come up into our brow line. It's probably going to curl around a little more. Because this is our eye would probably be a little lower because we have this whole cavity here. So our eye cavity would be like that. Dang, I'm late. Welcome, Andres. We're drawing faces today. If you have any questions about faces or fantasy creatures or faces, let's talk about it. Okay. Yeah, there we go. So you can see I'm still kind of doing the skeleton of this, and that's really good because then even from here I can look at, you know, how a nostril should be fit. I can look at where muscles should be. I can look at where skin should be, where things are going to be rounder. Jaw muscles here. I always make my lizard folk look like alligators. I don't know what that's about. Just like it. You can start looking at the lips versus the some of the other stuff, so that's fine. Give it a little bit of depth. Get some juicy eyeball going in there. Rip, rip, rip. And it's just a matter of filling it in. So starting with the basic shape, how about a werewolf face? Yeah. Oh no, the big F, yeah, the big F. Faces. If I draw a werewolf right now, it's gonna look real similar. I think I could actually turn this into a werewolf. And we can do that in a few simple forms. Because a werewolf jaw is gonna be very similar, but instead of having that, it's gonna be a dog face. Just gonna have a bigger bottom jaw. And then they're going to have ears that come up here. Ears are going to be a little more protruded. There. And then they're going to have a much broader back than the lizard because they have fur. And now my reference is all gone. It's just gone to poop. I don't remember how dog ears go. So yeah, definitely practice your shapes, like how you deal with shapes, how you understand shapes, because then you can easily start, just cranking stuff out as you see, how it should look. Give it a nose instead of a lizard nose. I'm so fluffy. And that's where studies are important, because you can start understanding the underside of the skeletal structure and really start making some cool stuff. The big F. There we go. So that's how you can kind of transition faces. We talked a little bit yesterday about can't think of words today. It's been a long day. Still got another 30 minutes. So we're good. We'll keep going. Let me recollect my thoughts here for a second. Poppers. Happy dog. I think there's something. There we go. Dog skulls are a little differently shaped than Dragonborn. We want to get those ears up here. There we go. That was the problem. Okay. Yeah. Poofers. Bam. Make a new thing. Where was I going with that? Does anybody remember where I was going? Welcome, Swarthy Man. We are making faces today. We're drawing faces. We're drawing people. We're drawing monsters. No, that's where I was going. Thank you. Fantasy faces. So once you have that base idea of what you want your head to be like, I'm going to go a little cartoony here. You can start playing with those proportions. So if you know, so this is the base thing. Top of the ear or bottom of the ears here, like that, should be where the eyes are going to be. Top of the ears. I guess it's kind of the top of the ears. So that's probably going to be the top of the eyes. Let me get my base shapes in here again. Boop, boop, boop. Halfway down. Got the nose. 2/3. We got the mouth. We got the jaw. Bottom of the jaw. Okay. So we got a face. I just tricked you into drawing my character for D&D. Hey, Ken, if you wanna screenshot that and use it for your character, go right ahead. I haven't drawn a werewolf yet, have I? That's an interesting race. I'll get there. We'll get there eventually. Eyeball. Another eyeball over here. Because those go down to the mouth. Those go down to the mouth. Got jaws. Perfect. Okay. So now if we want to go into kind of more a fantasy realm, we can really start playing with those shapes. And we just have to follow the same guidelines. And that was something I was talking to one of the Patreons about. I believe it was Ember, maybe? I don't remember. I said they did a good job of starting with their lines, but then they kind of lost them. So what I meant by that is once you start drawing your forms, like you can see that these eyes are way, way different than the top one. I'm going to do that. I think that's a better shape. You need to hold fast to those lines. So we can really start stretching. Like now this is the half line because the jaw is so big. You can start doing stuff like this. But we're still going to have the mouth that's at 2/3, and that means the jaw comes up here. And it's still going to follow those human proportions. And we can really, really get kind of crazy with some of this stuff. You can even go... If you understand what it looks like underneath, you can really start playing with it, which is why there's a lot of issues with like some anime characters. Like they look fine within the world because all of the characters look that way, but then when you compare them to other artworks, it's like, oh, it's creepy. Like that doesn't look right at all. Use this as a reference for my painting. Cool. Go ahead. Go right ahead. I would love to see those at the end. So if you take time and learn, especially if you want to draw like a specific type of creature, if you take some time and look at what creature that's close, drawing the skull, you can really start understanding what and why the skin looks the way it does, because there are muscles on top of it and there are different pieces to it. So we can... A lot of that is, and that's really how you should practice this. You should start looking at things that are similar and try to figure out why they work the way they do. I got no eyeballs. There we go. That's that, and that's that. Let's come down like this. Nah, He-Man. You'll never stop me. Except you do all the time. I don't know how to do guidelines, so I just don't. That's fair. So, this is, if you get I should probably eat lunch before I do these streams from now on. That's probably going to be my next bet. Guidelines are a learned thing. They are a learned amount of presence, or a learned amount of information that you kind of can bring to your art. So, I would suggest looking online. Looking on like Proco, once again, I super big YouTube channel. If you don't know what Proco is, look it up. Lots of great books. If you guys want like a good reading list, let me know in the Discord, and I'll throw some books at you that I'm not sponsored by at all, but I've bought them, and I've bought them for people that I've known that have gotten into art. So, all great. But really, what you want to do is you want to practice those until you kind of know them by heart. Skeletor would be an interesting character, yeah. Like maybe a warlock that's like, I'll trade you my face for magical powers. Understanding the shape of the head, especially if you want to get realistic, is really important for reference. But if you're okay with being a little more cartoony, which I am, kind of understanding, I can only draw this shape right there like I did because I've drawn skulls so many times and I know what things fit where. And I still constantly screw it up. So it's definitely worth practicing and practicing and practicing. But once you have those proportions down and you know them by heart, you can really start. So those are the two guidelines. You can really start doing it without drawing them, or without drawing as many of them. So you could easily go back to something. Where is it? Like if you're really struggling, start with these basic shapes. Like these basic shapes are the ones you should start with. And then once you're really comfortable with those and understand where the lines go and what you're drawing, you can start doing something like this that is very much kind of shortcutted, because I know where my jawline's going to be. I know where my cheekbones are going to be. I know where things are going to start adding up. Yeah. And you can always start, every time you draw a face, you could do all of this line work to make sure that you're getting your proportions and your placement correct. And once you've practiced it enough, you don't have to as much. And I still do. I still do some of them because I need them. I do have a video on that. The undead video would be pretty great for a Skeletor. Yeah, and so I've always struggled with people that have, like, my grandfather always said, like, oh, you don't need to draw lines. You're not a good artist if you draw lines. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, Da Vinci still drew lines. Like, if you draw the same thing over and over again and you don't need lines, that's great. That means you've practiced it a lot, and that's perfect. But study lines and volume and shape are all important. All important things in the end. And they help you kind of understand. So you see that's gone too far. Help you understand what you're drawing, the shape of what you're drawing. And then at the end, you don't really need all of them. You just need enough to get the idea across. And most of them will be covered by stuff. So, like, this can go away. Is it bad to start with the head? I've been told it is. I've been told by a lot of people that it's bad to start with the head. And so that's kind of my issue. I think that stems from pose. So a lot of people will start with, I mean, it goes down to really what you're doing. If you're drawing a pose, don't start with the head. So because you wanna get the line in there. You want to understand the motion, the movement. But when you're doing this, I focus a lot more on faces and like than body position. So that's just how I draw. So I always do a lot of stuff on the head. But really what you want to be doing is you want to be understanding shape. And so when you're doing just the head, you don't want to get fixated on it, which I do that from time to time. For some reason I never leave enough room for legs. That's also the thing I do. Maybe this, maybe that. So that's really what I think is more important, is making sure that you're not like fixating on something, or you're not stopping on something. There we go, that's better. And then once you have something like this and you're happy with the shape, I would completely fine. I would recommend it. I do start with the head. Once you have this, then you can go back in, and now that we've got the base shape, you can say, okay, well, there's my skull, because that's going to attach. And then I can start adding your guidelines, and now you can start piecing all these things together. And that's really how everything goes. And now I have my shoulders, so I can start adding the guidelines for my chest, because that's going to go this way. And then I can start adding this and that and that and the rib cage. And that's really why understanding your guidelines are important, because if you can only do one thing, which is like, I think I probably draw the most faces, or the most, at least I draw a lot of noodle body shapes. Yeah, I'm an egg. Yeah, legs are overrated. Absolutely. Once you understand your guidelines, you don't need to draw them as you're going. Or, like, oh, I drew the head, I need to draw the guidelines in for it. Like, you can leave it as vague as possible until you're ready to start moving forward. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Feet cost extra. Absolutely. It's going to end up being on my epitaph. So yeah, for me, I like using the head as a kind of a reference when I don't have a lot of guidelines or a lot of base movement lines, when I don't have a lot of movement lines. So I will usually start with a head because I want to know where it is in my scene, and then I will start drawing the rest of the stuff. So like maybe the body goes over here, and I can start placing different markers, key markers. There we go. Because like that's as simple as I need to start a sketch. And then I'll really start going into, okay, how is his head tilted? Is it down here? Is he looking up? Is he looking down? Is he looking to the left or the right? Like that's how I start building a scene. And the guidelines define those things, but they are just stepping stones. That did help. Cool. Okay. I think stepping stones is a good way to put that. Guidelines are just the stepping stones. You've got your shape. Now you need to start defining your volume. So you can start defining your volume with the guidelines. And you can start defining different pieces, like collarbones, bottom of the ribs. Get all that meaty guts in there. Start drawing legs. Get everything else just kind of lined up. Draw some muscles. Get those big old beefy muscles in there. And you can see even here I'm not adding a lot of detail. I'm just getting shape. And then once I get the shape in, I can start adding more definition. I can start defining lines with more guides. I can start adding more definition, more muscles, see how things are overlapping. It's just constantly building, constantly iterating on your work. So yeah, and we've somehow moved away from faces again. Faces are hard. Nobody likes faces. Don't need faces. Everybody just wears helmets. Everyone just wears, you know, this is my face. This is my face now. Perfect. So yeah, the human body is a very complicated mechanism. And like every piece of it is connected to something else that is even more complicated. So yeah, there are a butt ton of different things that I did not draw to get to what I just did. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Spine, shoulder blades, muscles, shoulder, collarbone, sternum, ribs. It just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. More muscles here. All of these things are things you could study. It's a putty from Power Rangers, exactly. A putty. Putty. Ooh. Today was a good day. This is good. This is good. I'm getting my art flex out. I can start a new commission piece a little later today. The video is coming, I promise. It's just being real slow. I might need to finish the video before I finish the commission piece, but we'll see what happens. I think that should be out in the next few days. Might try to finish that up and then tonight or tomorrow and then do the commission for the live stream. That sounds like fun. I could do that way. I do like doing the commissions for live streams because people get to talk about them. So, Andreas, what's everybody else been drawing this week? I've seen a few people drop their stuff in the Daily Doodle or in the Art Share. If you have something art in progress, drop that down there. I'd like to see it. There's a lot of cool stuff going on. Brr. Get a big old dwarf nose. Gotta have a beard. I must go, man. Tomorrow work. Practice pose tomorrow and have a great day. Thanks for joining, Ken. It's nice to hang out with you for a little bit. Hope I helped out a little bit. I hope to see more work coming from you in the future. Every time I drive out someone with a beard, they just look like General Iroh. I don't know. I don't know why that is. Maybe I just need more beard inspiration. Maybe General Iroh is just really cool. Nope. That's too low. It's too low, yo. Top of the eye should be right here. Bottom of the eye should be right there. Hells yeah. There we go. Oh boy, hair. There's a difficult one. I would say, yeah. Practicing Dragonborn face with hair, facial hair. I like doing a little like frills. I think that's good. Barbarian shifter, that's fun. Can a Dragonborn ever have facial hair? I've seen some. I've seen some with different kinds of hair. I think there's a lot of lizards that have kind of scaly frills or feathers, and I think dragons could go that way. There are some, I think, Asian dragons that have hair, so I don't see why not. The Dragon Ball Z dragon has hair, right? It's got like a mane, like a lion's mane. It's kind of a cool way to do it. That could be something we play with. Let's try it. Let's see what happens. What did we do to this guy's face? So, let's see here. Top of the ear's good. Bottom of the nose. His nose is a little long, and that's alright. Mouth is about 2/3. Jaw should be right there. So really, his beard should come out here. That's, I think, what we did. I think we made his face too small. That's better. Yeah, that looks better. Beardy. I've been drawing a Tarrasque werewolf vampire lich. You must really hate your players. That is a terrifying image. This could be stretched out a little more. Whoops. So yeah. This is, I think, this is a really good way to be practicing. Like, you see me just ripping apart this stuff because I need to draw it, and then I need to step back and I need to look at it and say, okay, why does this look this way? What should it look like? How do I want it to look? And that's really what you should be doing when you're practicing, is just constantly evaluating and critiquing yourself. Thinking about how things should look, where things are, how things are placed. I think his head would actually need to be a little bigger. Going that way. Yeah, that's better. Just better. I'm gonna make him a little more dwarfy and give him a little more girth. Shoulder would probably be a little farther back. Don't need anything in here since that's a shoulder now. Whoop. Shoulder blade would probably come up a little bit. I can't reiterate it enough. If you have not studied anatomy, you absolutely should. People say you need to work on your anatomy. Like, really, just just draw it. Just draw an arm. Draw a leg. See, figure out how muscles connect. Because there are tons of little tiny shapes that if you understand how the line works, can really bring a lot of detail to your work. A lot of kind of yeah. The more you understand, the better your stuff will look. It's really a big part of art. Chubby. There we go. That's a little better. Now I feel like it's much worse. All right, moving on. It's been in all my campaigns so far. No one has ever been able to kill it. Yeah, that sounds like it's just. Is it just purposefully killing your your party, or do they find ways around it? Because that could be interesting. Just like a known creature that can't be beat. I kind of thought that's what the Tarasques were anyways. Don't you have to wish them just away? All right, what are we drawing? What do we got? We got some time left, right? Oh, we got like 3 minutes left, so I'm going to look up some references real quick. Oh, hells yeah. That looks super cool. Okay. So, Dragon Skull. Get some horns here. Horns are going right down into the eyebrow. That's good. It's going to have kind of a stockier muzzle right there. That will go into the jaw. And then here we're going to go what kind of teeth does this guy have? He's got a big nose. Yeah, they just regenerate. Sorry, I was talking about the... One party crushed it with the spaceships for the first time it took damage. Used it for the plot. That sounds like an interesting campaign. So here I'm looking at an image of the Dragon Ball Z dragon. It's got like overly large nostrils. But it has this like huge serpent body, and I don't know how I would incorporate that into a character without just giving it like a really long neck. But that would work, I guess. We just do that for them for now. No, I don't like that. I don't like that right there. I like that up here. Go like that. Probably need to give him a little bit of a bigger head back here. Get the other ear going, or the other ear, the other horn going up that way. Yeah, you can do something like that. Yeah, finding a reference and then just breaking it down into its base parts. Like this is still the same dragon skull that I'm used to drawing, just with the Dragon Ball Z slapped on top. You go plot a TPK. Yeah, if you're just like willingly throwing your characters at it, I can see that being not a cool move. But if you're like teasing your party, like there's an unstoppable creature, what's your plan? How are we gonna deal with this? Like that could be a fun plot. I think that would be kind of like how Godzilla is about. I think that was the original intent for the Tarrasque anyways. Except now there's a lot of players that, you know, they could take a Tarrasque if they had the time. So yeah, I think that kind of stuff can be fun, because that's really how all big bad guys are. It's like, hey, this thing you're not ready for. Get ready for it eventually. Just a matter of figuring it out. So there's just gonna be a hell of a lot of escalation for your your game. This could be really fun. I like these, like the big old mustache tendril, like. Yeah, DBZ Dragon born. I dig it. That's a cool idea. Probably give him like a big mane though. I like that idea too. Okie doke. Well, that's it. It is possible. I think we're going to call it there for today. Thanks for stopping by, everybody. Keep your dice on the table and be safe out there. It's getting a little weird with all the media and stuff talking about stuff. Be safe. That's all I got to say about it. Be safe. Keep your art coming. Jump into the Discord. I want to see some stuff in the art process before tomorrow. Maybe we can talk about it. I think I'll probably start the commission tomorrow on stream. And we can go from there. Otherwise, I'd like to do more actual discussions. Like we should find a way to bring up questions or topics before the stream, and then we can talk about it on stream. So that would be a lot of fun. Let me know if you have any ideas or concepts for that. There's a thing for that in the Discord as well. Keep your dice on the table, and I'll catch you all tomorrow.